everybody, today I'm going to be talking about how to teach your puppy not to mouth or bite at your clothing, accessories, or your hair. Good puppy. What I've already worked on with this pup, I've only had him a few days, is working on a calm settle for food, which he's doing right now so I can talk to you. Now, naturally, when I train dogs, I never want to let them rehearse the undesirable behavior. So in my videos, you'll never see the dogs doing the things that they're not supposed to do. I only show you the small approximations of how to train the dog what you do want them to do. But in this case, because I get a lot of requests of people saying, hey, how come you're never using untrained dogs? It's because when you train with positive reinforcement, it always looks like the dog is already trained because you're breaking the steps up small enough that the dog can succeed every step of the way. So this puppy has never had any training with mouthing and biting, and I will show you that my puppy does mouth and bite at clothing when it moves around, but it's not very good training to do this. On this rare occasion, I will show the dog rehearsing the undesirable behavior. This is because the behavior of tugging is one I do want for when playing with tug toys in the future. Also, showing this specific undesirable behavior is not stressful for this dog. Seeing what the dog does in a situation before training actually makes the dog more likely to do those behaviors in the future. Instead, a smarter training plan is training in small, easily achievable steps where the dog doesn't even have a thought to do the undesirable behavior again. As you can see, this is a normal puppy. Puppies naturally want to grab at anything that moves fast or is dangling, like a dress or your hair or some jewelry or this dishcloth or a sweater sleeve as you're putting it on. So this is a normal puppy, but you'll see during the training, the puppy is not going to be doing this type of behavior. The point of this exercise is to teach the puppy that when things are dangling around, it means to ignore them, and you can still play tug with your dog, but it's really important to put that on a verbal cue like get it, and always say get it before you offer your dog a toy to tug on, so they don't get the wrong idea that anything that's dangling in their face is fair game to be tugged on. In this exercise, you can either use a clicker or a verbal marker. So you can either click and then feed a treat, or I have a nice calm marker, good. That means I'm going to slowly deliver the treat to the puppy like that. The game is pretty simple. You start off with distractions that are very easy for the puppy to ignore. So with this sweater, for example, if the puppy's over here settling, or you could have your puppy on a leash and you could have a helper, the helper's just going to show the sweater and move it slowly, and as you move it, you mark and then feed a treat. So the puppy is associating that when the sweater moves and they stay still, they get a click and a treat. And basically you're training the puppy to do nothing when they see this happen. Good job. When your puppy is having success, you can start to make things more exciting. So I'm going to move the sweater past the puppy like this. Good. Good job. I'm going to dangle my sleeve. Good job. Good boy. Once your puppy has mastered settling with the distractions, you can now practice when you and your puppy are standing up and moving, which is harder for most puppies, so you'll need to go back to marking the moment the distraction happens at first to set your puppy up for success. Good. 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 Good job. Good. Good. Good boy. Good job. When your puppy looks calm and can easily ignore the distraction, you can increase how long you make the distraction happen before you mark. You can also increase the difficulty of the distraction. Most puppies find fast, erratic movement harder to resist than slow, predictable movement. Good. Good. If you have a puppy that's extremely excited about grabbing, moving things, you can feed the treat as you move the thing at first. So I'm moving this thing and feeding the puppy like that. Good job. And now I'm going to do the leash first and then mark and feed. Good. 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 If your puppy were to grab onto whatever it is that you're working with, put a high-value treat to your dog's nose and then start over by making it much less arousing. Good. Also, I have a video on how to train the cue drop so that you can teach your puppy to let go of things that they start to pick up or they're tugging on. You can also use a kissy noise or the recall if you see your puppy going over to someone else to pull on their shoelaces or to get their clothing. You can make your kissy noise, attention noise, or call your puppy to you so that your puppy isn't practicing that behavior. When you see your puppy get interested in something, like someone's shuffling feet or shoelaces, interrupt your puppy and redirect him to something you do want him to be doing, like playing with his toys. Then make a mental note to work on that specific distraction in a training session. Good job. Here's a list of the steps. Step 1, mark as the distraction happens. Step 2, mark after the distraction begins. Step 3, add more time before you mark. Step 4, add difficulty and variety to the training. For the most successful training, you want to work on the distractions before the puppy is exposed to them in real life. For example, having your kids move in front of your puppy for the first time in a training session and reinforcing your puppy for remaining calm as it happens, beginning first by having the kids simply walking past your puppy. And now I want to mention that this video is dedicated to one of my YouTube sponsors, Ted Jack. Because of him and my other sponsors, I'm able to create this material for everyone to learn how to train dogs without the use of physical or psychological intimidation. So thank you so much to all my sponsors. See you later, guys.